So, Tiny, here recently, I think you've fallen down a well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Tiny.
Hey.
Austin's going to get somebody. Have I told you about what I did today?
No, but I think you will, though.
Yeah, I mean, we got some time to kill.
Oh, God.
We followed this random Facebook, marketplace thing.
Oh, no.
And, it was really weird. I went to this place, and, there was a house, right?
Yeah, people live in those.
Yeah, they also had some goats in there.
That's weird.
Like
Yeah.
goats in the house?
Yeah, goats in the house.
It's cold down here.
Yeah.
I think he's slowly sinking into the mud.
It wasn't cold in there. They had the fire going in there.
But
with
down
the
here it
goats.
is cold and slightly wet.
Yeah, it
I
happens like
venture
that
to say
sometimes.
it's moist.
A moist, wet hole?
Yes. But
Oh.
not a warm, wet, moist. A cold, wet, moist.
Oh, so not the fun kind.
I think I'm dying.
No, Tiny.
No, not Tiny.
Hold on, we're gonna throw you a rope. Here, hold on. We're gonna throw you a rope. You're gonna come back up a little bit. Hold on. You're gonna be up here. Here.
Wait.
Hold on. Come on.
Oh, God.
Pull.
Oh, God.
Pull.
Out of the
Oh,
fucking
God.
hole.
Is this what it's like to have birth?
Oh,
God.
he's crowding.
Oh, no.
He's crowding.
Oh, God.
Oh, Tiny, we got you out.
I feel like I've been reborn.
You feel like a new man?
I don't
Yeah.
know how in the
Who's
world.
going to eat the afterbirth? That's my question.
I
Not it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I mean, I can't because it was mine, so now you have to eat it.
Damn
Them's
it!
the rules.
Them's the rules.
I don't know what
Them's
sounds
the
worse.
breaks.
Now, Austin, if
What?
you look under your chair, we have it tasted.
No,
It's probably only 20 pounds of amniotic fluid in sac. That's not the right word, but
Is it
Placenta.
embryonic?
placenta. Yeah, embryonic fluid and placental sac.
I
mean, to cover my large American frame, it would probably be a 20-pound sack because they're thick and kind of leathery.
Oh, gather round, you mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. Three best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics boring to movies grand and games we love to play, we'll sail the seas of fandom land in our own nerdy way. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine, with laughter loud and knowledge fast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine. From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh, we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine.
Hi everyone. I'm Austin Shazam. I'm not gonna say it. I'll let the man speak for himself in a minute. Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto. Middle name, Cogdell.
Are you?
And I'm Tiny, also middle name possessing and last name possessing.
You've got that?
Man, you got both?
I do.
And we are Nerded at the Grapevine.
I had one surgically removed.
You had a third?
I had a third, yeah.
We're the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. Oh, man. And we did fall down a rabbit hole just like Tiny fell down that damn well.
Yeah, we
I'm so
did.
glad you got out of there. I was
Me
real
too.
worried. I didn't get to finish my story though. You'll have to follow down another one so I can complete
Okay.
it.
Maybe next week.
Tiny decided last week to try to do tiny things by bringing in some not so expected.
What-
Some
what do you-
exotic
exactly-
music, as some would say.
What exactly do you mean by tiny things? Because I just do things.
You do just do things. That is a thing.
You do
If
just
someone
do
asked me what
things.
Tiny does, I would say he does things. You are a man of side quests, and I appreciate that about you.
You are a man of side quests.
I feel like I should have joined the guy on the little truck.
Well, if you ever go back to the Golden Corral, just look for the guy in the chair. You know,
Absolutely. That's.
Maybe wait. Maybe that's what it was. He was on a quest. He was at the Golden Corral and he got a quest. He talked to the guy that had the little marker. He was on there. He had like a 3-star wanted level and he was going.
Dang.
Some people are just living the life, you know.
I know.
I don't really know, but I told my dad about that scenario. About if you're going to be accepting quests.
Your dad doesn't understand what a side quest is.
My dad understands enough to
Okay.
understand the joke. I said, "Hey, and if there's anybody sitting in that chair outside of the bathroom, make sure you talk to them. That's where you get your side quests." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's where you get to go on the fun part of the adventures because you didn't know it was going to happen yet."
Oh, right.
And he's like, "Where do you come up with this stuff?" I got a shit. Because he's not got a gallbladder. So if we go to Golden Corral, you know, he's got to make sure that bathroom is within like eyesight. Like I'm going to be staring at that bathroom.
He's got to take a pit stop between first and second
because
plate.
he's going. Yeah,
That kind of brings up an interesting point. You know, like the fancy places where you go in. Like I've never been to one of these places, but I've seen them on the movies where you go into the bathroom and there's a bathroom attendant and he's got his little station and his little chair. Is that not like the worst cuck chair situation?
absolutely.
Instead
because
of, typical, you're riding shotgun to all these people shitting.
see, the thing is, though, I would imagine that he would probably say the same thing as the man that I was talking about in my intro to my name. He would probably say the same thing. I'm like, "Well, hi, I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer. What's your name?" You know, I love the internet.
It only works when it wants to.
No, honestly, it really only works when it wants to.
We should get Al Gore to fix it. He invented it.
He did invent the internet.
The internet?
No, I'm frustrated
I
because
was about to say enema.
yeah. Well,
He
I
invented enemas.
I might need one of those. I feel like I'm having a Mac attack.
Do we need to have a bro emula?
A Brolonic.
A brolonic.
known as a Tiger King, the gay gun cane redneck with a mullet.
Yep, that's,
All right.
that's literally what we're talking about today.
It's him. It's Joe Exotic. He's better known as the Tiger King.
Somehow the least crazy person in that documentary.
Honestly, of all the people in there, I feel like he was the least terrible. Did he do everything correctly? No, he
No.
did not.
Was he terrible? Yes.
Yeah, he's
I
Was
honestly,
he the terriblest?
he
I
had some.
honestly don't even think he was that terrible of a person. I think he was more ignorant than terrible.
He had some bad times. I
He
mean,
did do some bad things.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, try to, cover that up. But I feel like in most ways where he did bads, he was just very ignorant.
Yeah, and he'll
So-
tell you himself when he's done the worst.
yeah.
He's very honest.
Coke, I had my days of drinking. I had my days of meth.
So he's very open and honest about the things that he's been doing. At
Yes.
least.
He reminds me of one of those coworkers where like you'll be working, you're both just kind of zoned out. And then all of a sudden they just come with stuff, I miss doing cocaine. It's like, okay, hello?
So I'm going to jump a little ahead into the story because I don't know exactly the flow we're going to go with this. But you remember in the documentary where they're talking about the studio burning down and they were going into, trying to figure out who did it?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have this theory until the second viewing. I think it was the guy who filmed the documentary who set it on fire because they mentioned it. They mentioned it. And then he was like, "No, man, I was crying too because that's my retirement in there. We lost all the footage we lost every bit of footage before that we had filmed. Like we had none of it. Yet there's still footage in the documentary that should have burned in the fire that he said there were no backups for."
Was his name John Rinky?
Yes, Rinky. No,
Rinky.
was it Rinky?
Rinky?
It was the guy, the old guy with the hat.
Yeah, old guy with a hat.
Yeah, because
Basically, like the guy that's going to be telling you exactly what he was
Yeah.
doing the whole time. while
yeah, he was like, "Well, I thought it was crazy, but I was filming everything."
Well,
That-
basically, Joe told me that he wanted me to film and produce his internet show, and I told him I do reality. So if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be filming 24/7. He's like, "Oh, fantastic! That'll make great footage for the show." So he thinks he's doing all of this in order to have cameras around him all the time to have footage
well,
collected
and
from
do all
his
the
show.
production for his show.
Yeah, he's
So,
he's
yeah.
not thinking like this guy is collecting this footage to make his own reality television show documentary thing.
Well, he knew that was going to happen, but the whole guise was to set him up as like the ultimate tiger guy because he's the one that gave him the name Tiger King.
yeah,
He thought he was going to
The-
be the star in a good way. not
Yes,
the star in
exactly.
a bad
Well,
way.
I think initially it was going to be, but after all of the events that take place in the show, it got cut in a way to show everything that wasn't supposed to be shown, and I feel like they were trying to put Joe in a worse light than he actually was in some ways, because I'm not ever going to say he was a good person, but I think he really got screwed over, especially upon second viewing of the show.
in the first episode of Tiger King, we see something that takes place because we don't really know a lot about this until Tiger King came out. Honestly, in 2020, whenever
Yeah, we didn't hear nothing
we were
about any
worried
of it.
We were worried about some other shit in 2020, but then Tiger King comes along and is like, "Hey, let's distract for a second and not worry so much." And we're like, "Well, yes, I
Yeah.
will."
Well, it was also like, what can we use to distract him with? How about the craziest thing ever?
The weird thing.
Yeah, it's like, and I'd even heard of Zanesville before, the whole Tiger King show. I didn't know all the details, but I'd listened to a couple of podcasts about it.
Basically there was a bunch of pressure on the guy that owned the Muskingum County Animal Farm that's in Zanesville, Ohio, and he had exotic animals. He had 48 that he released, and they were all killed because they had to be put down.
Yeah, you can't just release exotic animals
And-
into like.
I mean, we're talking
well,
like lions, tigers, panthers, bears.
my.
His
Yeah,
name was Terry Thompson, and he actually deleted his own save after releasing all of those animals.
yes.
Dang.
So
what-
he was over it. He was a Vietnam veteran. He had been through some things. He was actually facing a lot of pressure from different government outlets at that point because they were passing bills
It was-
about privately owned.
Yeah, it was almost like a second Marvin Heemeyer, but in a completely different way.
So at the shop today, I was setting up at the dab bar, and I was talking to a customer who was dabbing, and yep. Thanks, boys. I'd knock my microphone if I did it, so I'll just do that.
Yeah,
And, oh,
that's why. I just,
no.
Oh.
Oops. Shit.
Black flag. Delete that. Delete that.
No, I'm not. Fuck it.
Yeah. So the Zanesville, Ohio guy, Terry Thompson, knew this guy and this guy at the chair knew Terry Thompson. I'm not going to tell you the guy's name because I would have had to remembered it, but also for the sake of his privacy. But he told me, he's like, because he was looking at the TV and he's like, "Hey, what are you watching over there?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Tiger King. It's some crazy stuff." He's like, "What's it about?"
Is this a regular or was this a new person?
He's a regular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be on the hunt now.
No, he delivers DoorDash and he also works at the restaurant down the strip from us. But he said he was friends with Terry Thompson, and he's like, "I used to go riding 4-wheelers all over his property. I used to go visit his animals. I used to do this, used to do that." He said his bear was so friendly. He said that bear was humongous though. He said, "But I've never seen a friendlier bear." And he said, "I hate everything that."
Well, how many bears had he come in contact with?
Well, that's just.
I mean, I'm just.
I mean, that is a fair statement.
that
What's
would
your
pose
your
I was saying
pool?
that is the most friendly bear that he's ever come in contact with.
Well,
How many bears has he come in contact with?
there's really no telling, because I didn't
I'm
ask
gonna
that
ask
question.
him.
It does beg the question.
Just start asking people how many bears they come in contact with.
Yes,
Just
that's how I'm
cold.
going to find them.
Yeah, but he said I was talking to him.
You ever
about-
met a bear?
Well, I mean, you
They-
may get some other.
Well,
You might get the
You-
wrong answers.
Yeah. Okay. Let me rephrase that.
Hold on, let me help you.
You ever been a bear? You want to?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Tiny, you do have the qualifications in some aspects.
I
It's
know.
like Bad Boys.
I
It's
know.
like the movie You ever been with a man? You want to?
I mean, I know that in that realm that I would be classified as a bear. I understand that. So I don't know a good way to ask that.
Yeah.
That doesn't put me in there
That doesn't put you at.
because I don't want to culturally
You
appropriate.
don't want to break hearts either, because people
Exactly.
could get excited.
So it was just a weird connection while I had Tiger King playing on the shop television, just kind of like going through stuff all over again with it. That somebody sitting at the dab bar had a connection to Terry, and
It is weird.
because he had no idea what Tiger King was, and he was talking.
Oh, that must be wild.
Yeah, he
Whoa,
had,
like he had never seen
no,
Tiger
he's never
King?
seen Tiger King, and he was like, "What is this?"
Wow.
So I was telling him like, "Oh, this is Tiger King. It's just basically like this weird documentary about the underground big animal trade in America." He's like, "Oh man, that's like my friend Terry who died up in Ohio." He said, "Yeah, I used to go up there and hang out with him, and we'd ride 4-wheelers all around his property, and he had all sorts of he had a bear, he had like 40 or 50 cats." And he was talking like cougars and ligers and tigers and lions, like all this stuff. And he is like, and he's like, it's crazy what all happened to him up there around. I said, he's in this documentary,
Oh my God, that'd be wild.
and he's like, what? I said, he's in this
Well,
documentary.
it's more mentioned. There's like it's like
I know,
5 to 10
that's-
minutes.
Well,
of
still,
that.
if
I said,
someone
yeah.
mentioned you in a documentary that I didn't know about, I'd be like, wait a minute, what?
And
Oh,
he's-
yeah. I mean,
and
I
he's-
get it.
And he said, and he mentioned the bear, and I was like, yeah, I've seen the bear. I said, but it was dead next to all the other animals that got shot. And he was like, yeah, they killed all of them because they had to when he released them.
Yeah, that really sucks because that is one of those, like, there's ways to do it, but with that many animals at one time, it's like, how are you going to handle all that?
Well, it's like I think if I remember correctly, their plans were to come and seize them, and I don't know, take them to zoos or try to rehabilitate them. Their original plan was not to massacre them,
Right.
but since he released them, they had no choice.
Yeah, that's what
because
I was saying.
there was so many animals that were just released. Because if it had been like a tiger and a bear, odds are they could have tranked them and transported them
Yeah,
somewhere
but
else.
And
40 cats.
the crazy thing about it is too, this
So
man,
it's his own fault.
this man
What I'm getting at.
without anything in front of him to have anything to pull up, he says to me, and it's because of what the governor of Ohio was doing along with that idiot Jack Hanna. And I was like, hold on, what are you talking about? And he's because I was like, they didn't go too far into the description on this. He's like, no. He's like, Jack Hanna was a spokesperson for them putting a suspension on anybody having private animal ownings like that due to the ability for them to reproduce those animals and to potentially sell them.
Let's be realistic here.
Absolutely. it was
That is a
happening.
good law.
Yes, but the thing is, though, Jack Hanna was the main one that was pushing that, and he is not an animal expert. He is just a guy who goes and represents anims.
Yeah, he has
He's-
a show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like he's not even like the Kraft brothers.
Well, I mean, he could. I mean, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, he could love animals and appreciate them, and it would still make sense for him to want to push that law. He just didn't know the practical side.
It's like
So
calling.
I'm not against that one.
It's like calling Maury Povich to come to your house and talk to your child because they're misbehaving.
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing: you can tell when a kid's misbehaving. I'm still not against it.
That's true. Also, if Maury would come to your house just to talk
Maury-
to your kid,
Maury gets
then
like
you find out
5%
it's
more
not
doc-
even yours
Yeah.
because Maury's there.
Right?
You just do an impromptu DNA testing. No, that's what it is. There's not actually any DNA testing. That's just he has a superpower. He's able to look at you. He is Maury vision, where he looks at you. He's like, "You're not your father's son."
That's Maury vision.
That would be like the most useless superpower ever.
You know what? But he's made millions off of it. As a
Oh yeah,
TV
he
show.
absolutely has.
And he could save so much money on DNA testing.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of characters within this freaking show, though.
Well, I mean, there's Carol Baskin,
Oh man,
Rob Lowe, which I think is the worst
Is he
of
an
them.
actor?
Baskin. Carol Baskin. Carol Baskin.
That's all you hear.
Or no, it's
throughout
Jeff
the show
Lowe. Sorry,
Yeah, I was about to be like
not
Rob Lowe. Isn't
Jeff
that an
Lowe.
actor?
Yeah, Rob Lowe.
I'm sorry,
was a Tiger
Jeff Lowe.
That son of a.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Jeff Lowe had his own thing going initially because the whole reason he came was to bail out Joe because Joe's low on money, doesn't know how he's going to pay the lawsuit from Carol Baskin. So he brings in Jeff. Jeff got into trouble with animals, sneaking them into hotel rooms and things in Vegas. And then he shows up with all this money to bail him out. And then he does everything to steal the man's zoo. Like, why? Like, literally, oh God, Joe should never have went, I think I could, pay money to have Carol Baskin killed. Shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely shouldn't have done
He put
that.
himself in that boat.
He put himself in the boat. I'm not going to say he didn't. However, Jeff said, you know what? I think that my guy that I brought here that you don't like and he hates you, he'll probably do it for like $3,000.
And I think also Joe was just hated Carol so much for what he thought like she represented.
What he perceived her as,
Yeah,
and what
because,
he perceived her to be.
because
Look,
honestly,
she's also a shitty
Well, I
person.
mean, like,
slimy.
there was things in the documentary I didn't like, but I think the treatment that Joe gave her was
it
disproportionate.
was above and beyond.
It
where he
was on
should
that
have done
like
it.
professional hater, not even hater, like despise.
I mean, imagine she had absolutely nothing to do with her husband's disappearance.
Well, hold on though. Let's back it up a little bit. It wasn't disproportionate because she also, in the beginning, when they were talking about him going to malls doing tiger shows, literally was dispatching people to follow him to go to these malls and say, "Don't let him come back," and literally take away the man's livelihood.
Oh yeah, she did.
That's
that.
where the hatred
Yeah.
started. That's warranted. You just literally tried to take all the food out of my mouth and my family's mouths.
And his point with hating
mean-
her so much for it, which I can understand, like, but the thing is though, like, Joe was a little unhinged about the continuation of it.
now he was.
If
yeah,
it was
that
tit-
was the thing. It was like,
there's a difference between tit for tat and then this and that.
yeah.
Well, but
like,
here's the thing,
it
though.
went on for so long. He should have dropped that shit.
Now here's the
He
thing.
kept kicking
though.
it up.
He did because she kind of just let it go after a while. But the thing is, though, if somebody let's just pretend for just a second that I'm Joe and I'm trying to
Joe.
make money to fund my zoo, feed my husband both food and meth, and feed my
Gotta
staff.
have the meth up there,
Yes.
you know.
And then you had another
And-
husband's mouth to feed him meth.
I think he only had the one husband at the time.
I have two meth.
I know, but they
to feed.
stacked later, so it only got worse.
Exactly. It was like a whole rick of firewood, but that's beside the point. So if
There was a lot of
I'm-
wood going on.
If I'm working my ass off driving across the country to feed and fund everything, and some individual tries to take all of that away from me, neither hell nor high water will stop my hatred and try to keep me from doing what I can to stop you. Now, I'm not going to, pay people money to delete your save, but within the confines of the law, I will do everything possible.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like that was the part of it because I
So,
think she
I
was.
don't think he
something.
was in the wrong initially.
Yeah, I can see. Initially, I can get that because I 100% get that.
Right.
But like 20 years later, if I'm beefing with somebody, and it's been 20
Well,
years and they've kind of given
Well,
up.
she
on it,
also kept doing other things though.
They
It
keep
wasn't
bouncing
just
back and
one
forth.
sided.
They keep bouncing back and forth within each other's lives because here's Carol popping up with this big help group that's getting like World Wildlife Foundation style advertisement for the good deeds for all of these cats that she has with these beautiful sanctuaries and all of this, when truthfully they're in like little tiny cages on a small plot of land,
Yes.
having so many people work for her for free, and all of this money she has donated to her gets basically pocketed because she convinces people to come work for her.
Oh yeah. Not only just work for her, but pay for her training classes to come work for her for free.
And there's a tier process to this
A
because
5-year process to become the top rung, and you still are unpaid and volunteer basis.
yes, and
She had the balls to make a whole commercial at one point to say, tigers need at least 40 acres of land to roam on per tiger. Tigers don't belong in cages. She's sitting in a cage in front of a tiger. Inside, guess what? A fucking cage, because a fence is a cage with a higher walls and
Right.
no
Yeah.
top.
It's still a cage.
Yeah, and that was her big claim against why Joe was bad, because tigers don't belong in cages.
When truthfully,
What about all the tigers you have in cages, Carol?
Yeah, because Carol's cages, like at some
I'm
points
gonna
too.
say it. Fuck Carol Baskin.
Oh my God,
How could he do it?
He
He
did.
did it.
Oh Lord.
I'm a
Killed
Joe.
your
Oh,
ears.
did you really just proposition her like that?
No, I am coining the term. I'm a Jovicate,
A Jovicate.
a Joe advocate.
I thought you were gonna have to have a day off, like an extra day off, Or
You got to take the Sabbath off.
yeah, what's your Sabbath?
Oh,
Like
Tiny
Thursdays?
doesn't get birthdays or Christmas anymore.
Oh,
I don't care.
That's fine. As long as he can, the truth of Joe can be spoken.
Exactly. Free my man Joe. He's supposed to get out in 2035.
Josiah
That's
witness.
ridiculous.
Josiah witness. That's what.
Yeah.
have you heard the good news of Joe?
Like you just hear.
None of the other ones are in prison. A lot of them should be.
Oh yeah, there's that one guy that is
Oh.
straight up a cult.
No, that's what I was going to get into. Like Carol's got a tier.
Bhagavan Antle.
She's got a tier system to her workforce, but there's a tier system to the crazy of the tiger folks they focus on here, because I think that the peak of like convincing by masking crazy is going to be Carol. She's right up here. I think she's at the peak of masking all the crazy and looking like normal to the folks.
She looks closest to
And
like
then
an
you've
actual
got-
organization.
Then you've got second tier here, and that's Joe. Joe is
Right.
going to appeal
Yes.
to a lot of folks because Joe is, he is
He's
the
like the Florida
he is
man
the-
of tigers.
He is
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
he is
Wait,
the
isn't he in Florida?
he's
No.
the gay gun-toting man from Florida, man with a mullet. He's not from Florida, but he's a man with a mullet.
It was like Wyoming, I think,
Uh,
or something like
and
that.
then you've got Doc Antle, who's at the bottom of it all, who has just the creepiest vibe out of anybody. He's the kind of man that has animals of this
supervillain.
nature because he feels like he's spiritually in tune with them.
Now, here's the thing. Okay, there in the spinoff, Tiger King, the Doc Antle story, which I watched as much of that as I could stomach.
I didn't even get
Because
there.
it gets it starts off bad and gets worse, and I got to the point that I couldn't watch anymore without being real sad and things. But anyway, so his name is not Bhagavan. But that's what he calls himself, which is a title, which means Lord. So he's already making everyone around him verbally submit to him, whether they realize it or not.
Talk about sniffing your own
Yes.
farts.
He's not a doctor. He says in a few places that he's an MD. Well, he went to some third world country and had somebody sign a paper that says he's an MD. He's not. He is not.
Got it off Timu.
Pretty much. Back in the 70s,
Doctor with an ER.
it all for him. And, for him, in a lot of ways, it started. Yeah.
How'd they roll the D on the paper?
Doctor.
Well, see, for him, in a lot of ways, it started in the 70s at a place called Yogaville. It's a real place. Look it up.
Yeah, there was a cult.
Yes. So
It's on HBO. You can watch it on Max.
Yes. So he started off in a cult and basically branched off to form his own cult.
As you do.
He became more or less a name within Yogaville because the Swami, who has a name that sounds a lot like deli meats, was priding himself on purity and yoga and spiritualism and just like supposed to elevate above and beyond the sex stuff. Well, he ended up going back on his vows because they're supposed to, as a yogi, take a vow of celibacy.
The bear?
No.
The bear doesn't.
No, let's not put Yogi Bear into this because
Okay.
it gets bad.
Okay, so
Because-
this isn't a funnies.
No, it's not a funnies because he
okay.
started basically convincing people to have sex with him,
Oh, that isn't a funnies.
regardless of their age.
Ooh, yeah, that's a bad not funnies. That's a
Yes,
bad man.
It's a bad, not funny. Very bad man because
Oh, yeah, we need to
like,
keep
we're
Yogi's good name
talking-
out of this.
we're talking almost single digits. Yes,
He needs to burn in a bad place.
absolutely. Well, Bhagavan was there and basically learned the ropes from the Swami and based a lot of his things on that because he started doing things like that there. In the
Real quick, I found his name, and it is kind of like a weird
it
meat.
sounds like deli meats.
Sachidanda. Sachidanda. Sachnidanada.
Yeah,
Sachnidanada.
I feel like there's
that's
about
just
to be a
the first
portal open
name.
behind you.
Yes, but it's Swami Sachnidanada. That sounds like you're getting into like you're about to get in like a drum fill.
Da-da-da-da.
Swatch-de-danada. Swatch-de-dan. Like, why?
Oh yeah,
Swami!
Da-da-da. Do-do-do-do. Phenomena.
Sachnidanada.
Do-do-do-do.
Swatch-de-danada.
okay. So moving past pedophiles,
Sorry.
We usually do.
yeah,
Good. As they lay dead in the street.
We should move over them and
I believe just like the guy on YouTube, JD Delay, that they should go through a wood chipper feet first.
Just like the bear.
However, so Bhagavan started off doing different performances at various Renaissance fairs, and basically the first lady that he gets, she's the not the Hispanic lady. This I don't know. Anyway, picks up this one lady because she's out walking her ferret. He's walking a tiger, and she said, "That's cool. Are you hiring?" And he said, "Yes." So that was his first.
that is a weird interaction. Someone walking a fair, talking to someone walking.
It's a
tiger.
Renaissance fair, man. I don't know what to tell you.
They're a familiar.
Yes.
I guess.
Well, and then Doc Antle. What I'm not even going to call him Doc. Antle. Antle's good because he doesn't deserve the respect. So Antle was
It's
also
just a handle.
right was doing magic shows and things, and had tigers. That's Joe based a lot of his things on basically a poor man's version of Antle's things, and he started, recruiting all these young girls and women to come do an internship at a place for, as not necessarily a nature preserve, but a nature preserve. That was his selling point.
Yeah,
Eventually,
I remember the episode where they covered that in Tiger King. It made me feel
Yes.
uncomfy.
Wait, was that the one? Was that the part of the episode to where they were talking like how many hours a week they would have to work for him
Yes.
nonstop?
Yeah, and they had to
Yes.
wear like certain things. He picked out their wardrobe.
But
their
there was
food, their
there was like
things.
a modeling position that he was offering.
Well, hold on.
for something that
We'll
he
get
was-
there. We'll get there, because he would bring them in there and say, "Hey, you're gonna do all this work for conservation efforts. It's gonna be great." Then they get there, and he would recruit them as young as 15,
Ew.
and they would come and live there with him, with their parents' permission, and they would be obviously calling him Lord Bhagavan. And
I feel sick.
yes,
yeah, I
and-
just this.
and-
Ugh.
exactly, and so
Having somebody tell me about it as opposed to me being wrapped up in the show is a lot more sickening than watching the
yes,
antics.
it's very sickening.
Like on paper, it looks exactly the way it should. It's like iced over like a sweet cake whenever you're
Yes,
seeing it.
Yeah,
And all of this is allegedly. Okay? Allegedly.
Yeah.
We want to throw that out there. All this is allegedly. So allegedly, he would only feed them between 300 and 500 calories a day to keep them slim.
Oh my
and-
gosh.
And at that low of a calorie intake, because the food wouldn't even be very nutritious. It was just to keep you alive. It would slow down the processes of your brain so you wouldn't be able to think clearly and realizing the manipulation that was happening, because eventually it would get these young girls to thinking, if I sleep with him, I can advance. And it seems like a good idea. Like, this isn't a bad idea. I kind of want to. That's the whole thing that he's pushing for.
Sleep with the dude, you get more food.
Exactly.
It's a rhyme that they tell
Exactly.
themselves when they go to
And-
sleep at night.
Yes. And then he would eventually tell them, he wanted them to look young for a certain amount of time, because his first wife, who was in the one about him, would tell you. And then at a certain point, he would just decide he wants to age you up, which means he sends you to the plastic surgeon
Ew.
to get, breast implants.
Oh, that's
the-
disgusting.
It is. The first lady that blew the whistle, she said that she finally got to rest while she recovered, and that was the only time she really got to rest. That at the time, she would have done anything just to be able to rest.
Oh, I remember that was
Yes.
heartbreaking to
It-
hear
it
that.
was.
She got breast implants like super young. It was one of
yeah.
those like you're
She was
She was
barely
the-
an adult.
She was the short-haired,
short-haired,
round-haired lady.
skinny lady, and
Yeah.
she eventually had to move out into the country. And the one that's about Antle, because people being fucking stupid started showing up at her house. Well, it also Antle was sending things and threatening things, and
Allegedly.
saying you're lying. Allegedly. So she actually had to move to a different house, and she was like, honestly, I'm way happier, so it's fine. But she was the one that started the whistle blowing, and then so many other ladies. Yeah, I was there too. I was there too. I was there too. As one of his second wives that divorced him, that married him way back at Yogaville, started just saying how he would just almost sit in counsel at the deli meat man's feet, learning the ways of quote unquote yoga and being a yogi master. Basically, he was learning how to effectively run a cult,
Yeah,
and basically figured out ways to do it.
because
to
it's
get away
still
with
it's
it
still up
longer.
for debate with people
It
whether or
is.
not that Yogaville is a cult.
Exactly,
Because
and
the Swami there is so charismatic and convincing that like it's not your typical like you just well you can automatically tell like you got to do some hard looks because
Yeah.
there's a documentary out about it and I need to watch it.
I've not seen the documentary,
Yes,
but I can imagine.
Because it's one of those like I watch too much cult documentary because you watch a lot of stuff about fruit and you get to craving sweet nutritious fruit stuff like
So, are you saying if you watch cult things, you crave to be in a cult?
when you watch too much cult stuff everything becomes a cult.
Oh, I was about to
okay.
be like, are you about to be going down the street to the cult down there?
No, it's just like when you're a hammer and every problem's a nail kind of deal.
Yeah,
Like,
you just start seeing it in everything.
So you didn't want to go join the cul-de-sac?
no, because I as you know, like I dove too deep into some cults for a little while, just watching and watching and watching and reading and reading and reading. Then all of a sudden, I started realizing just how many of them exist within just like an X amount radius of me, and I'm like, I would rather just not know this. It's like, why don't you go ahead and look up the National Sex Offender Registry on your
Don't
Yeah,
ever do
yeah.
that.
Look that- look
it
up-
makes
look it
you
up.
real
Don't
mad.
ever do
Look
that.
it up.
Real
look,
mad.
look up the map. It is a free legal map that is online. Look it up. That's the same kind of upset that you are when you find out there's cults all around you.
Here's what'll make you feel even worse about it. Not every sex offender is required to register. Some of them are only required to have their picture on there for a set amount of years, then it drops away. So there's even more around you than you actually see on the sex offender registry map.
Ugh, I
Just
hate
so
it.
you know, like a
Disgusting
former boss of
humans.
mine, guess who's on the sex offender registry? Him.
So
Guess whose picture's no longer on there as of last year? Him.
Oh, well, you keep up with it.
Well, I just kind of
Checking in every now and then.
Look,
And finding a
I'm
good
going to
warm
be
place
real.
to
I'm
cuddle
going to
up
be
on the
real
internet.
honest with you here. Anytime that I start working at a new establishment where I'm working for other people, I do a Google search on every single boss there because I want to know what kind of person I'm working for. And
Did the couch gnome pass the check?
surprisingly,
Oh my gosh.
because
have a good one, brother.
when I ran into an incident at one particular place of employment, which shall not be named, they told me to remove a particular adornment of mine. And I said, why? And they said, well, that looks bad when customers come in and tour the facility. I said, well, how do you think it looks knowing that one of your members of upper management did something to a child?
And
They said, have a good rest of your day, sir.
Yeah, there's not really a lot
And I
you can
said,
say
"That's
to
what I
that.
thought." Now, I didn't want to use that as leverage.
I mean,
However,
as Joe would say, like, oh shit, I love the internet.
It just hasn't been working for you.
Well, it's worked sometimes, how can it work sometimes, but not all the time? The internet needs to learn how to internet more efficiently, I hate the internet. I think that now Tiger King was a cultural phenomenon
It
at
really
its time.
was.
Like it was phenomenon.
Da-da-da.
It was
You fall for that, ladies and gentlemen, you're worse than a bunch of nuts in a squirrel tree.
I mean, look, hold on.
Okay, if
The
Jason,
funeral, Oh,
Oh,
my
God.
God.
That whole
Is
part.
is that a sound button?
it is not.
Because
Unfortunately, there
okay,
was a sound pad option
yeah,
that I had found that had over 100 bits on there, but I would have had to individually download each link into a file folder.
yeah.
They
Oh,
had
that sounds
Gotcha.
awful.
they had the
Forget
files
that,
available
man.
for you to actually plug onto a soundboard, like your
Right.
own soundboard.
Oh,
and
it,
that's cool, but
yeah.
yeah,
I ain't got
we ain't got time
I
for
ain't
that.
got
that's not a
time nor
before
space for
pod.
that, you know.
That's like an afternoon
Well,
kind of
see,
thing.
when one of his husbands, I can't.
It was
remember
that
his
young
name.
one, wasn't
The-
it? The younger
Travis.
guy. Yes.
When
oh,
Travis,
that was heartbreaking.
yeah, it was an accident, but it was a drug fueled accident.
Didn't he have an oopsie daisy with involving his head and a hole punch?
He had a cordless hole puncher, a Walther one that was supposedly with
Ruger.
Walther, or it was Ruger.
Ruger.
But with Ruger's, with a lot of them, when the magazine is out of the firearm, the gun will not fire. It's a safety mechanism. And he said, "Yeah, it's one of those Rugers that does that."
No, he just said blanket. There, okay, some Rugers do that. Some other ones do that. It's not a blanket. All of them. One
Right,
of the
not
things
all
that
of
he
them do.
did was he would point it at people as a joke. And there was one particular guy that was there to work on like the TV shows. He liked doing it to him. And he's like, "Man, we've talked about this. Don't point that at me. Like, I don't like it." And he goes, "Man, Rugers won't fire without a clip. What? See?" And then he puts it against his head, and well, we know what happened.
Yeah, it was.
His save was deleted. Very
My-
tragic.
Mind you, it was an accident,
It was an accident.
but he was on so much meth.
Yes, so
at
many
that
drugs.
At that point, there was so much meth going through through the man's body that he wasn't a normal thinking person.
No,
and
not at all.
any normal thinking person knows don't point the barrel of any gun at your body or anybody unless you want them to go away.
Yeah, don't point a firearm at anything that you're not intending on destroying.
Yeah, and it really sucked because Joe just turned and made it all about himself, about how bad he was feeling.
I'm not saying it was necessarily that, because the mom was there. They had this whole little church thing where they would do weddings. So he's out there in his little priest shirt, and he's basically giving a eulogy at Travis's funeral. And I can understand to some degree wanting to talk about how much you love the person that's passed away. And I really think that's where he went, was meaning to go, but he goes, Travis just knew he had this way about him. He always said that he was here to make me smile and feel good. He said, so he knew when I was having a real bad day, he would just come and rub his balls on my face. They were like little golden nuggets to that boy. At the
Oh my
funeral,
God.
in front of the guy's mother.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know
He has zero filter.
He has not only filter but awareness. He has no awareness because he lives in Joe world.
You're right.
And-
Awareness is more indicative of how he is.
Yeah, because
than
he
filter.
he lives in this world to where he's the hottest shit that's ever
Well, he is
existed.
the Tiger King.
He's the
He
king
had
of
a throne.
tigers.
Like even whenever he was running for president, and he was getting on
Yep.
these like he was on the debate floor, and he was going to be fielding questions, and he said something like he's like, well, I would have brought my wife, but he's over. He stayed at the house, and he's in bed now. He's like, I don't want to say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
like
He thinks he's the main character of everything.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he
Yeah, he
thinks
definitely
everybody
does.
else is a side character in the Joe Exotic story.
Right.
And mind you, a lot of people do live their lives that way. They are extreme narcissists.
Yeah, I was about to say that's called narcissism.
But Joe got it. But also Joe had a rough upbringing. I mean, because his as soon as he came out as homosexual to his father did say to him with a shake on the hand, like, you're not going to come to my funeral, and we're going to shake on that.
Yep. And basically said, if I see you again, I'm going to shoot you.
That's rough.
So I mean, mind
I mean,
you,
that doesn't excuse the shitty behavior.
And-
It
and-
doesn't.
and in
but-
Tiger King season 2, Joe's ex-wife is on there.
Whoa, Joe had an ex-wife?
Yep, Tiger King season 2.
I didn't
did not
watch
know
any
that.
of season 2.
Season 2, he talks about, and I was like, wait a minute, Joe's married to a woman? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I thought he had never even felt the touch of a woman.
Yeah.
that makes Pretty Women Lover not that bad anymore.
Yeah,
It's still, hold on, it's still bad.
Pretty
It's
Women-
still a bad song.
Pretty Women Lover is one of those, like, also I'm the main character of this story songs.
Yes.
Because he had a whole music career.
At least it wasn't a blind man describing how ice cream sounds.
Otto, last week, Bitha sat where you sat and had 3 different rounds of Joe Exotic poems read to her, and she had never seen Tiger King.
Oh
And-
my gosh, she must have been so confused.
She wasn't confused. She laughed so hard just because I was over here just frustrated and dying laughing in the first place. Just because, like, hearing these words, like, read to you and not sang to you because they're poems.
Right. Oh my gosh, that would be.
Oh my gosh! And just Tiny with.
I mean, I
with-
led with I Saw a Tiger.
He's got Angry Slam Poet down for I Saw a Tiger, and that tiger saw a man, and I saw a tiger. Now I understand. I saw a tiger. That tiger saw a man. Like he.
Yeah. Oh, I did really good on
And-
that.
It sounds like like a meth fueled trying to say what happened. It's like, no, I saw a tiger, and the tiger saw a man, and I saw a tiger.
Yeah. Just wait till you listen to it.
Oh yeah, that.
It was like when I was like one time I got real good and gardened, and I was trying to describe something to Dane and Rooster, and I just kept saying the type of warrant that somebody had on them, and I just kept saying it was a certain kind of warrant, and I didn't explain the warrant. I was so elevated that I just kept saying the name of it over again, and then I'd say it in a different inflection, and I never explained it, and then they just finally said like, "Shut up."
It's like whenever I speak car to you guys, you just look at me like, what do you mean?
Well, no, I at least know a couple of the words.
Yeah.
It's more like when you speak anime at me.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Also,
Though.
I'm a little sad nobody took the bait the other day
I don't take
when I threw out the anime title, because I was just like, I wanted somebody to go, "Hey, I just started watching it. It's really good. What do you think?"
What is the anime title?
Nothing. It was like Godzilla -1 or something.
Oh yeah,
it was
I
the
don't remember.
Godzilla
see,
one.
to me, I thought it was like you telling us like that you had seen a thing.
Yeah, I
Oh.
thought you were talking about
no,
an
it wasn't
anime that you
Godzilla
saw.
-1. It was Godzilla something, but it wasn't anime.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about an anime that you watched. I'm like, oh, Tiny watched an anime. That's
yeah,
cool.
that's what I was fishing for, and then nobody took the bait. It was a real legitimate anime title that's on Netflix.
What was the hook? I'm curious now.
It was just Godzilla something. I don't know.
I know, but what were you hoping? What?
Just I was wanting somebody. I was hoping somebody would be like, "Oh man, I just watched that the other day. Like it was so cool. This thing happened. You know what
Yeah.
y'all do when y'all anime."
Right.
I was hoping for that to start at me to go, "Yeah, I've not seen it."
Look me in my eyes when I tell you this.
Okay, I can really only see one of them.
That's fine. You got the general direction. Like, if it doesn't have something to do with being reincarnated in another world,
It said Godzilla.
it is not going to be on my viewing of animes, most likely. -2, Dragon Ball Daima, and Solo Leveling.
Yeah, I'm more of the catch for the weird anime because I just scroll Crunchyroll and I'm like, this looks interesting, and watch 4 episodes of it and then never again.
I've got my tropes down to things that are based off either light novels or something with a title that's way too long, but they all entertain me in different ways.
Also, since we're talking about anime, I tried to watch Suicide Squad Isekai
Oh,
again.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
And-
audience.
I don't. Does it get better?
How long did you get into it?
First episode.
No.
Clayface is annoying as shit.
It's okay. Honestly, it is really okay. The problem that I had with it was like they were loose and fast with the power scalings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't your typical like your anime style stuff. It was I didn't like the fact that it was 3D, like your 3D stuff. I wanted it to be anime.
It felt like they kept making the same joke of, tee look, we're doing the isekai trope. Haha, look, we're doing the fantasy
So
trope.
basically, the entire new Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, like, it just felt like they kept pointing to camera and say, look, we're doing the thing. Shouldn't you laugh?
Yeah, just like
And
the
I'm
new
like,
Star Wars trilogy.
That's not fun. You know, fun way to do that. That time I got reincarnated as a vending machine. That's a funny ass way to make fun of isekai.
I laughed several times during that show, and also it's very cool that he had to think so hard on ways to interact as a machine.
Yeah, it
because
was interesting.
It would be different if he was like a talking bubbly machine. Hi everybody. No, I'm here to save the day. No, he can't speak. He can only say like programmed vending machine phrases. Have a good day.
And then he has to think like, what can help them in this moment? I will offer soup so they can have something warm to eat and it heals them.
Yes.
It's so good.
So that was a surprising anime. But yeah, Tiny, I know you don't want to talk anime, but there's a lot of the reincarnated as that exist at this point.
Right.
Reincarnated as a slime, reincarnated as a pig,
See,
reincarnated as a dog.
well, the vending machine
reincarnated
thing, it's kind of similar to an SCP file that I had read.
Sep, bro.
Secure,
SCP?
contain, protect.
Yeah,
SCP. It's internet horror.
yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I had a whole topic about this.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you not up on your internet horror lore?
No, I try to stay away from as much of that as possible.
Yeah,
Just
there was one basically about a sentient vending machine that would vend things.
That's creepy in real life thinking about it,
I
but how
think
goofy it
you
was.
would dig SCP if you dug into it because it's like Slenderman where people come up. It's all internet made, forum made monsters.
And to actually make the SCP list, you have to apply for the number and make sure it doesn't already exist as a number.
Yeah, and they have like all sorts of different ones. Like there's some that are just innocuous. There's one that's like just a sentient bowl of spaghetti. And it's just like,
Yeah, some of them are funny, some of them are serious, some of them are horrifying.
yeah, I would look it up. It's SCP. It's
Okay.
Secure, Contain, Protect.
Yeah.
It's a government organization that protects
Yep. The
cryptids.
SCP Foundation. You can also find different like video, like mini movies on SCP missions.
Yeah, it's really
in
cool
cases.
because
Yep.
people will actually make like little animatics and little things to go along with
Yeah,
these.
the SCP game sucks balls. Don't play that.
Yeah, it's more fun as like an internet archive. It's like a cryptid wiki of everything is made by community.
Now, I'm just thinking about something because there was a sound bit that was happening for everything throughout the 2020 era from Joe Exotic, and it was like, I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
Oh, that's me buying eggs.
There were so many memes that come out of that.
Now, what was that?
That one's great.
What was
and
that
the
regarding,
guy on the
though?
jet
When the tiger ripped that girl's arm off, and
That
he was
is-
like, "I have to
Ho-
pay
hold
for
on, hold on.
this."
Saf was a he.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah, it's easy to forget.
But no, yeah, ripped that guy's arm off, and he was like, "How am I going to pay for this?" Because that's what he was worried about. Not, oh my God, this person's arm is ripped off.
He went to his trailer, got a paramedic jacket that he had, and he was
headlying
never a paramedic. Run back out while Saf is laying there bleeding, and then afterwards at a meeting was like, "I'm never going to financially recover from this." Or no, it wasn't even a meeting. He walked into the gift shop. He was standing next to the Joe Exotic underwear and lube section of his gift shop.
It was part of the gift shop drama. It was always gift shop drama. Like anytime
Yes.
like that, like he would get in the gift shop and there'd be people in the gift shop, like because that's where the crew would occasionally gather. Like he would always cause like an excess of drama,
Yep.
just because the cameras were always rolling.
Yeah, he wanted to be the star of the show, so he had to be doing
Like
crazy stuff
even
all
as
the
far
time.
as like firing people. Like just to be firing people and look like he had that kind of like I'm the big swinging dick around here. Like you're fired.
Well, not only that, it was. You can say that he wanted everything filmed. No, he legitimately did. There was footage of him sitting at a picnic table eating a sandwich multiple times.
He just
Literally,
wanted to have himself on
everything
there.
was filmed.
He wanted to be the
Yes.
star of the show.
Yep, there's footage of him weed eating a sandwich, just walking down the driveway to fart. Like literally everything.
You know,
He was filmed.
like whenever they're having like the reaction clip to whenever I think he finds out that Jeff is gonna take his it's basically like taking the sanctuary away from him.
Yeah, the GW Zoo.
Yeah, and he's like he's like
What was it? Greater Windenwood Zoo.
Yeah, and he's like doubled over crying, and he like looks back at the camera, make sure the camera's watching it.
Oh yeah, multiple times he does that.
like just
Oh yeah, Because I bet that's how he sees his life is he's the star of the show.
Yeah. Also, his YouTube channel is archived. It is still up on YouTube, and it's still being updated today.
Oh, is it
Yes.
from prison?
Not by him,
Oh, okay.
but
Joe Exotic has a laptop
I don't know
in
who
prison.
the guy is that is spearheading the thing. Because you can go back in the archives and see his old videos.
I think if Joe had a laptop and access to the internet, that Donald Trump would never be left alone.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't think because he's been barking at that bitch for a pardon for
Oh, yeah.
like 4
Oh, yeah.
whole years.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, not only that, he's been on several podcasts doing interviews with people from prison.
yeah.
One of which is Brohio. Look it up.
If we were the kind of people that had phone-in interviews, that'd be pretty cool to have somebody like
could.
Joe on here. Because honestly, I was captivated by the show, and I
I mean, we could probably just
I'm
turn a mic on
willing-
him and he'll just talk for an
I'm
hour.
willing to write a letter and send it to him.
that would be crazy to talk to Joe
Dude,
on
how
the show.
fucking cool would
Well,
that
I
be?
It'd be a lot
know-
better than talking to Wrinkles the fucking clown.
Hey, Wrinkles was cool.
The bad child punisher from under the bed that I swear
Look,
used to live under
Wrinkles
my
was
bed
an art
as a
piece.
child.
Wrinkles was and is and will forever be an art piece.
Okay, if you say so, I'm just eternally creeped out by that.
I don't
whole
think
scenario.
that there was ever. I don't think he was ever actually hired to scare kids. I think that was just
a rumor,
a part of like the
Part of the
lore of
character.
Wrinkles. Yes,
the mystique.
yes,
Part of
and
the the flavoring.
but I'm not going to swear to it. I don't know because I bet he still listens to us.
Now,
He did for a while.
now Joe, on the other hand,
Also, Wrinkles, if you're listening, let us know, man. Like, just somehow,
Joe would be interesting to have on the podcast.
I'll write him a letter.
Here under Austin's bed tonight.
Who, Wrinkles?
Yeah.
He ain't gonna fit. I remedy anything being under my bed by cramming it full of stuff underneath my bed. It has
Yeah, that's-
boxes and pillows and all sorts of stuff. Not good pillows, just those decorative pillows that you don't know what to do with anymore. They just go under the bed.
Because they're never good. Like I'll go to TJ Maxx sometimes, and I'm like, "What is this pillow good for?" I can't use it for like a couch or like a nap couch pillow because it has sequins on it.
We've even
Some
stopped.
pillows are just crotch pillows.
We've stopped with even having like those shammed pillows that go over the top of your bed pillows.
Oh yeah,
Like we stopped. We just started having two pillows. Like, why would we have a decorative throw in the floor pillow?
oh
for
yeah.
this?
Because I don't see that. I don't see the point of that. Because guess who's going to be in my bedroom? Me and my wife. I don't need my bed to look nice. It's my bed. I'm going to sleep there.
Yeah.
I don't need like 15 decorated pillows.
I mean,
'cause
I
who's
will-
going to be in my bedroom?
Look, I will say, I like
Indubitably.
things to look nice for me.
I mean, that's
because-
fair.
Why would I treat guests more special than I treat myself?
Because I'm a trash person. I can't let other people.
you do
know
you,
that.
but I'm like,
I
I
get
would
it.
rather have something look nice for me and nobody else than to look nice for everyone else and not for me.
I understand that. The way I live my life is I get home and shed my person skin and just become like a little.
That's how people
gremlin.
die.
Well, you
Yeah,
know,
But you let my wife know that my mom is coming over to the house at any given point, and you
Ew.
watch how disgusting the house automatically becomes. There are different people's standards for
is
for
true.
how clean I keep my house. Because you walk into my house and you don't really think like, "Oh man, that's a junky house." But my mom comes over, and the first thing he sees is a smack on the mouth for not saying that entire sentence correctly. Hold on a second.
Yeah, Daddy. I
Uh,
ain't done that in a while. Do it one more
the
time.
first-
I,
Do it
I'm
one
glad
more
we
time. I
don't.
was almost there.
the first thing that she sees when she walks into the house is the first speck of anything because my mom's that kind of clean person. And that's also probably the reason why I'm not that kind of clean person because growing up, if things were in disarray, so was your life.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that.
Like, because bless my mom, but she was undiagnosed,
Yeah.
So undiagnosed in the 90s, that was a wild time for also undiagnosed.
Well, in the 90s, those diagnoses did not exist.
No, it was
It wasn't just undiagnosed, they didn't exist.
It was like your mom's feeling down. Oh,
You just has some sads.
yeah, that's what it used to be. Just like, oh, she's feeling sad. Like that. No, it wasn't that.
No,
at all.
that's clinical depression.
Yeah. So it'd be one of those things like once that was snapped out of, then there'd be a spike, and then all of a sudden it's like, this isn't clean, this isn't clean, this isn't clean. I can't believe this is 2 days from expiring in here, and we haven't thrown this out. Da 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 da. It's wild stuff sometimes. So with me, it's a little bit more lax than that, but also I don't want it to look like I don't care. Because
Yeah.
I honestly I do care.
Yeah.
Like I want to feel like because I just cleaned and did the floors in there not too long ago, and the problem with having a dog that goes outside whose feet are made of all fluff, because some people have dogs with beans. My
Yeah,
dog
you
ha-
have a living
She
mop.
has beans, but they're buried.
she has
dust
buried
mop.
beans. She has buried beans. She has a walking dust mop, so she goes outside into the yard, and it being the dead of winter with the grass all
Look,
dead,
she is just trying to mop the yard, okay? That's all it is.
she does.
She's trying to help you clean, but just the outside.
She tries to help me clean up the pieces of grass that she carries in from outside on her feet because they're dead and dry. And she
Right.
picks them up in the fluff, and she'll walk in the house, and she gets real excited because she's running to the treats because that's what she gets, just because that's the only thing to get her back in the damn house.
You have her trained now,
Oh yeah, she's good. It's great.
or
It's
she
just-
has you trained rather.
No, that's fine. I'll give her a half of a
You
crunchy.
can both be trained.
She can
you know?
have half a crunchy as long as she is not out there very long in the dark and the cold.
That is fair.
So get your business done. Come back in here, get a crunchy. All right, hell yeah. Well, she comes running in the house and she bounds through the door. So and there's little grass bits, just one or two here and there. Well, she does her best to try to pick them up by eating them because she is who she is.
It's
And
also a vacuum.
I also know whenever she's had too many floor snacks because I wake up in the middle of the night to every dog owner's least favorite noise, and it's the sound of a washing machine in your bedroom. Look it, look it, look it,
Oh, God.
look it, look it.
I. Mm. It doesn't get better because the sound's in my ears and out of it.
At least he's throwing up into the well,
Uh,
and it's not all over
Does
the
that make you
floor.
want to gag too?
yeah, I'm a sympathetic puker.
See, I learned a
.com.
thing on TikTok. Fuck it, I'm on TikTok. Fight me.
Finally, it took it almost getting
And
banned.
and here's the thing. I learned that some people, when you make gaggy sounds at them, they'll gag and almost throw up.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I didn't know that
There's-
was a thing.
There's a man who torments his
So
wife
I've been,
with that.
Yes, I've been waiting to try that, and I'm just a little sad that none of y'all are.
I'm not that, but it makes me be like, because I
This is
hate
so
people.
bad. He just goes. "Bleh."
My sister's that way. She,
I'll need to find one person that's that way.
Oh no, that sounds awful. I'm glad I'm not cursed with that existence.
I mean, if I think about gagging too long, it'll make me gag.
I don't want to gag.
yeah,
I don't either.
I don't.
I've
wanna
had
do
enough
that.
things that make
I
me
feel
want to
kind of
gag.
gaggy just from making myself gag.
Well, I don't want to get too gaggy, especially on air.
No.
So I think that. Well, Otto, you weren't here last week, so
I wasn't here last week.
I'll
I
ask
was doing things
I'll ask you a question.
and stuff.
Otto, what would you do if Joe Exotic somehow got out of prison and walked in the room holding 3 grapes?
I'd say, did that bitch Carol Baskin send you? And then see his head explode
And he said,
at the thought of him working for her.
before his head explodes, he said, "Brother, you passed the test." Throws the grapes away and pulls out a baggie of meth, and his brain explodes.
Look, there's also meth in them grapes.
Yeah, there's gonna be meth in all of that. And then I would text the boys and be like, "Hey, guess what I have?"
People thought Joe was like magical because of like this glittery presence to him, but no, it's just
Like a Twilight vampire.
Yeah. You look at me. This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
Hold on, spider monkey.
Hold on, Spider Monkey.
Hold on, tiger monkey.
Oh, I want to see that AI or whatever the fuck someone get onto that. I want to
Anybody
see
who has-
Twilight, but with Joe Exotic instead of Edward.
Anybody in the universe that wants to make that AI Joe Exotic
Look,
of
we just
Edward
won
from
30 to
Twilight.
45 seconds.
I
We're not
just need to see a
greedy.
clip. Just make me a super cut. I will do like a Klondike where I would do some disgusting things for that. Please, I want to see it.
Let's Auto do disgusting things. Everybody, have a good rest of your week. Thanks for listening. Tune in next time for more shenanigans.
And tomfoolery.
Indubitably.
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 So here's to friends and Thanos'